They say it's the worst storm that's hit this area in 50 years. Did the most extensive damage I've seen in this area ever.
Scared for my life is what I was. I was bawling like a baby.
There are some who have had extensive damage, and there are those who don't have much of a home left.
There's no roof, but then you came up here and you seen there's no walls, and the whole second story was gone.
You're trying to dysfunction, and I don't think it has entirely hit me yet. What's really going to happen to us?
From the Weather Channel, this is Storm Stories with meteorologist Jim Cantore.
March 12, 2006. An F2 tornado rips through Springfield, Illinois, just before 8:30 p.m. Winds estimated at 120 miles an hour tear a 5.5-mile trail of destruction through the state's capital city. Residents barely have time to react when a second twister drops just moments later.
I have never been scared like that. I'm a pretty brave person. It takes a lot to scare me, but I found out my limit.
No deaths are reported, but 19 people are injured. The next morning reveals a new face of Springfield. More than 1,700 buildings are damaged, and thousands of residents are without power.
I've never seen anything like this before. No, I haven't. They say it's the worst storm that's hit this area in 50 years. Did the most extensive damage I've seen in this area ever.
March 15th. 3 days after the tornadoes,
How did we get there?
Brad Shivey, business manager for the local laborers union, directs 70 volunteers helping with the cleanup across town.
Head to the east side! Almost all the buildings and all the roads you see in this community were built by union brothers and sisters, so we take it personal. And we want to help rebuild this city, so the best way to do that is if we help on the cleaning up. We've seen tornadoes hit in other areas close to us. We've always been lucky. We're not lucky anymore. I'd like to own a boat. Wow. I think it touched down here.
Yeah, it's definitely bounced here, yeah.
The laborers are joined by volunteers from the carpenters and operating engineers unions. They're here at Ash and 16th Streets to clear down trees and debris.
Instead of one going to work today on the many construction jobs we have, or two taking care of their own families, these people came out today to try and help the city rather than stay home and take care of their own. Hey, some of you guys just help me get all this out of here. We'll clear out what we can, then we'll cut up the rest.
All things considered, this is an easy job for a crew with construction experience. The workers are able to cover a lot of ground fast. Many residents are still without power, and with cars destroyed or blocked by debris, some families have no way to get to a grocery store.
We have no power and our refrigerators don't work and all the food's spoiled, so we can't eat nothing.
They can't get to food or water, and they don't have heat. Get us in the bucket, we'll cut this down, and then we can get the rest off there. We're going to be out here until the city tells us that we're not needed. And I don't think anyone understood the magnitude of the damage that would happen. Nice job, Mel. Nice job.
In less than an hour, the crew is done clearing trees from yards and rooftops. It's time for Brad and the volunteers to load up and help another neighborhood.
You ready? Ready?
Several blocks away, the Roberts family tries to salvage the remains of their house. The second tornado hit their home and caused major damage. Jeanette and her husband Dave have lived here for 6 years. This is what their home used to look like. Now, they've lost nearly everything.
It's hard to accept. It's really what it is. It's just really hard to accept. You're trying to just function, and I don't think it has entirely hit me yet.
Jeanette's mother, daughter, and granddaughter also shared this house. Just before the twister hit, 7-year-old Brianna was covering her ears because she's afraid of storms.
The little granddaughter yelled out and wanted to know if it was almost over, and I said, yeah, because it had gotten extremely quiet, and I knew. And probably not 30 seconds later, I yelled from here, I said, let's go. And I was yelling, let's go now, 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 move, move, move. And we came down this hall, and we got down and laid right here. So I could hear this ceiling breaking. That's, you know, why I kept telling everybody, get down, stay down. We all made it out okay. I mean, no scratches or anything.
After the tornado passed, Jeanette ventured out of the bedroom to inspect the rest of her home. Trees had crashed into her living room.
I went to the back door to try to get out. And you can't get out because my house is shifted, it's tweaked. So you can't get out my back door, you couldn't get out. So we were virtually, I thought, trapped in here.
Jeanette went to her front door, and it too was jammed shut. She tried the side entrance by the garage.
So I went this way, got this door open. This was all blocked, where I couldn't get out. There was no opening. It was all blocked with wood and debris. So the only way I thought I could get out would be through here. Okay, and I was able to get out through this door.
Jeanette and her family are still in shock over the loss of their home.
I think this is going to take a while for me to get over. Over here. Basically, everything's gone. You go to work, you know what you're doing in your job, et cetera, and then you go home. Well, I don't have that anymore. What's really going to happen to us?
Jeanette's daughter Melissa and granddaughter Brianna take a look at the Pentecostal Power Church next door.
And this is the church. And the pews are still there, and the books. It's just amazing.
Then Melissa and Brianna make their way over debris to survey their own backyard.
Yeah, look, the tree that Papa planted still there.
What was that one?
Yeah, and the cherry tree. Bree, remember your swing set used to be right here?
Uh-huh.
Now it's way over here.
I know. Here's my
careful.
swing set. My teeter-totter.
Yeah, there's your
Part
swing
of my
set.
swing.
The Roberts family spends the rest of the day searching for anything worth saving. The best find is one of Brianna's favorite toys.
It's a stuffed animal that sings while singing, and my mom gave it to me on the 3rd Valentine's when I was, I think 4.
The Roberts and hundreds of other Springfield residents have unlivable homes. For now, the Roberts have checked into this Days Inn motel. But other families aren't as lucky. They're staying in Lamphere High School's gymnasium at a Red Cross shelter.
This is a place where they can have a shower, they can sleep, they can eat, and we can try to have some sort of fun from time to time. Say hi.
Red Cross caseworker Monica Mazzaro is a former Springfield resident. She drove here from her home in southern Illinois to help run the shelter. More than 200 people have spent the night here since the tornadoes hit. Just ahead on Storm Stories, the Red Cross hits the streets to help people in need.
Oh, I need something to eat in my stomach so bad, mercy. I ain't got no water, my mouth is dry.
And a Springfield resident grapples with the loss of his home.
It just kind of takes your breath away, kind of, but while I'm still here, am I dreaming? No, it happened.
March 18th, 2006. It's 6 days after 2 tornadoes destroyed parts of Springfield, Illinois. This morning, a Red Cross emergency response vehicle heads toward one of the hardest hit areas.
Hi, what would you like? Some water, some sandwiches?
Red Cross caseworker Monica Mazzaro and her co-workers hand out food to people cleaning up the neighborhoods.
Thank you. You can see a sense of humor. Somebody put survived on their roof. That's good. That's a good sign. That means that they're feeling like they're beating it. Where are you guys from?
Monica gets a lead on a family in need of food.
Springfield. Oh, yeah. She said 18.
18.
I got it. We're trying to make sure that they have something to eat, something to drink while they're cleaning up. And talk to them about how things are going for them. Sometimes, and this is because I'm a caseworker, if there's an opportunity to talk about what their plans are next, what they're thinking about doing.
Moments later, Monica finds the house.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Hi,
yeah,
how are you?
Fine. How you doing?
I'm fine, how are you doing?
All right, just to put out food and everything.
I just wanted to check on you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. God bless you.
Barbara Walton and her 2 kids live in this house.
You're welcome.
Their electricity came back on yesterday, and the Red Cross is giving them fresh food.
Don't forget me.
I won't forget you. I promise.
Several blocks away, another survivor gets some unexpected help. Volunteers from across the city show up to clear the property of Ken Beaver.
I didn't know there was that many good people around. They don't ask for nothing, but they almost, you know, they won't quit till they can do something for you. They just will not quit.
Ken has lived in this house for 1.5 years. The loss of his property is still sinking in.
You don't really feel. It's just not real. It's surreal. This didn't happen, but it did happen. Deal with it.
Before the twister hit Ken's home, it looked like this.
That's what attracted me to this place, was that front porch. It was just like where you'd want to sit. Feel the breeze come in. It was just really nice. That's the part of the floor of the second floor right here. And it was basically looked like a little enclosed area. It was really nice. The trees, these were all shade trees. Looked like a bomb went off now. This is where all the glass was flying and everything, you know.
On the night of the twisters, Ken was in his living room. He didn't know he was in danger until his roommate, Jim Hashman, returned home.
I was just sitting here on the couch watching TV over here. And then he came in and told me that the tornado was coming. The sirens was going off by then anyway.
The first twister missed their neighborhood, but a second one quickly followed, and they dashed for the basement.
Went down here through the kitchen, or used to be the kitchen, and down the steps here.
But before they could take cover, Ken was distracted by something outside this window.
It was like real bright blue-green lights out there, kind of like somebody had a movie going on or something. And it was just the intensity of the storm, I guess. And then I no sooner said something about the light color than everything just started bam, 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 and just shrapnel and everything, you know. It sounded like a bunch of garbage cans or something, but it was worse than that. It was blocks and people's roofs and trees and everything. And then you can see where it broke the window right after it started. I just barely got back over there when it started, got back down and covered up. And then we just waited it out and hoped it would stop soon.
Seconds later, the twister moved on, but Ken wasn't sure if it was safe to go upstairs.
You've got that hesitation, you're not sure. Is it over? You know, is it over? Is it over? Is it coming back?
Ken was worried about his 91-year-old neighbor, so he ventured out.
The first thing was, went and checked on the woman next door because we was worried about her.
Ken's neighbor was okay, so he returned to inspect his own home.
Everything was blowing in the windows and everything, and the refrigerator was over here, and it had like insulation blown all over. It looked like somebody had that blown in insulation. It was all over the walls and everything. This is the dining room area, or was, and this we noticed right after the storm was over, the pipe from nowhere. We have no idea where this come from. And then you can also notice over here the cracks in these walls, which are about ready to give, I think, now. This is where the upstairs was pulling up. You could hear it downstairs just creaking back and forth. This ceiling in here is about ready to fall any time. I'm not even going to walk in there. There was water dripping down out of these lights.
As bad as the first floor looked, nothing could prepare Ken for what happened upstairs.
Now, up here is where we come up to check on the second story. And as you can see, no second story. No roof, no second story. All the stuff that was up here just gone. Okay, 2 bedrooms was up here. The one here came out over the top of the front porch, and then there was another bedroom back here. All I can say is it's gone. It's just gone.
Coming up on Storm Stories, 4 generations shared this devastated house.
That's toast.
Now, the family will have to find a new place to live.
Most important is getting us all back together under one roof. That is the most important thing right now.
April 2006. A month after 2 tornadoes hit Springfield, Illinois, the town is still recovering. Jeanette Roberts' house was so damaged that it had to be demolished. All that's left is the foundation.
A slab, that's what's left of the house. They came in about 2 weeks after the tornado and did demolition on it, took it down.
For Jeanette, the hardest part was losing nearly all of her possessions.
Some of the stuff that was inside of it was damaged and broken, and I could not save. That was the saddest part. I can't replace the stuff that went with it.
Jeanette's daughter Melissa and granddaughter Brianna are staying across town with a friend. Since the tornadoes hit, any kind of bad weather puts them on edge.
We were pretty terrified of storms now. More so Brianna than myself. There has been a time since the tornado that there was another siren that went off and we all went down to the basement. I don't fool around no more.
Jeanette is living in a rental home with her husband and mother. The Roberts plan to rebuild on their property.
I'm ready to get back in my own house with my own yard and start living in it all together again. That is the most important thing right now, putting us back together as a family.
For Ken Beaver and his roommate Jim Hashman, it took weeks to clear their yard of all the debris. The garden now yields some much appreciated color after all the destruction.
I planted about 100 tulip bulbs last fall, and I was worried that those weren't going to show up, but they come up back here in the backyard pretty good.
The house is still standing, but the damage is so bad it will eventually have to be bulldozed.
It's just something ugly to get out of the way now, so it's not going to really bother me that bad. I'm buying the one next door on the corner here.
The house belongs to the 91-year-old neighbor Ken checked on after the tornado. She is selling her house to him.
The inside's got nice plaster walls. There's no cracks or anything in any of them. The outside needs new siding and roof and windows. All the windows got to be replaced.
There'll be a lot of new houses, a lot of updating to the houses that aren't going to be torn down. It'll look nice. In the end, it'll be better.
Until they close on the new property, Ken and Jim are renting a place across town.
Whatever it takes, maybe 4 months. Hope to be back here by winter. Springfield's just a community that comes together, and that's what everybody always wants. You know, you want to live in a town like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I found out I do, so I'm very happy with that.
How do the 2006 tornadoes compare to the one that hit Springfield, Illinois in 1957? Find out when Storm Stories returns. How do the 2006 tornadoes compare to the one that hit Springfield, Illinois in 1957? The 57 twister had faster wind speeds, estimated at 210 miles an hour. It was rated an F4 on the Fujita scale that measures a twister's strength. Since Dr. Tetsuya Fujita didn't invent his scale until 1971, he retroactively ranked it by analyzing photos and newspaper accounts. Both twisters in 2006 were rated F2 with wind speeds at 120 miles an hour. The 57 tornado killed 2 people, while no one died from the 2006 twisters. All 3 tornadoes had similar paths through town. For Storm Stories, I'm meteorologist Jim Cantori. Your local forecast is next.
This is the worst storm in